Burnout isn't just about doing too much, it's about doing too much of the wrong things, too many of the wrong things at the wrong time in the wrong order. Okay, it's not just about doing a lot, because actually, when we're doing the right things that actually energize us and fill us up, they will actually increase our energy, not suck the life out of us. So, burnout is most often a sign of misalignment, meaning I'm taking too much of the wrong things on, right? And I'm not aligned anymore in how I'm executing. When we start carrying everything instead of stewarding what's ours to carry, exhaustion is guaranteed. Too many leaders, you guys, are out there. We're trying to be the hero. We want to solve everybody's problems. We want to fix everybody's problem. And we just want to give, 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 even over assignments and things that are not ours, right? But we like to be the one that everybody needs, everybody wants, everybody sees as the man or the woman. And so then we end up running on empty. So here's the deal. What often happens here, okay, ego gets in the way. It starts off well intended, it starts out well meaning, but we have to be so careful of this, is taking on more than we've been asked of, more that is actually our assignment, our responsibility. And I want to say a lot of this is actually self induced. We start creating complexity to everything. We start making everything way more complicated than it needs to be. Okay. The brain loves to solve problems. That's what it's designed for. So if you keep giving your brain problems, it'll look to solve every single problem. But here's the kicker, often the brain tries to create through complexity. Okay. Meaning adding way more steps, way more processes than it needs to, instead of simplifying and multiplying things. So I want you to really challenge yourself today and ask yourself, where am I taking on projects, ideas, problems that are not mine really to carry? Okay. This isn't about, okay, that's not my job. That's not what I'm talking about here. Okay. We want team players. It's about, where do we feel like we have to get involved? Where do we feel like we have to fix and solve and be the hero? I just invite you to pump the brakes for a minute and really ask yourself the question, because often burnout comes from the energy behind something instead of actually doing it. So if I feel like I have to do this or else I'm going to disappoint people, I have to fix this problem or else I'm going to piss somebody off. And it's like this obligation and this fear and this pressure that's driving my actions. That's going to suck so much bandwidth out of you. Okay. So it's important to recognize, number one, where am I trying to play the hero? Where am I taking on way too much that's not my stuff to carry, right? What am I actually responsible for? And are there any areas where honestly I am just creating complexity, making more work for myself that's self induced, that is actually not essential, not necessary, and not going to yield great results? So I want you to pause the video and actually ask yourself those questions, okay? And be willing to be raw and real with yourself. This is a self reflection exercise, first and foremost. Awareness is the first step to any kind of change. And so many of us are not pumping the brakes, we're not slowing down to ask ourselves better questions. We're just running hard, we're running on empty, and we're asking ourselves dumb questions like, how do I do more? How do I get it all done? How am I going to get it all done in a day? How am I going to please everybody? And when we're asking ourselves poor questions, we're going to get poor answers. So if the questions that you're asking yourself are always making you feel exhausted, they're always making you feel overwhelmed, they're always making you feel like you're operating in a pressure cooker, I'm going to challenge you to pump the brakes, slow down, whether it's on your drive home from work or whatever. Don't get distracted. Don't go just checking out. Get quiet and ask yourself some better questions. Okay. So, again, I'm going to reiterate them and then we're going to move on to the next thing. Burnout does not usually happen because we're doing too much. It's because we're doing too much of the wrong thing. So the questions I want you to ask yourself is, where am I trying to play the hero? Where am I trying to be the solution to everybody's problems? Where am I taking on things that are not my responsibility, my authorized work, my area of genius, because I'm doing it out of fear or out of obligation, out of guilt? Okay. We don't want to create from that place. So we don't want to show up from that place. And where am I adding more complexity that where I can really strip this down and simplify it.